Hey everybody, this is Just Okay Wally, and welcome to episode 2 of the extra series for Worth the Wait. And I'm here with Just Okay Caters.
Pleasure to be here.
And I'm also here with the development team for PeriAreion, Erica Holcomb, she's the producer and lead designer, Cameron Bollinger is the lead programmer, and Joseph, I'm not going to butcher it,
Asidia
is the lead writer and promotions coordinator, also known as the marketing coordinator. These guys are happy to join us for this episode. We wanted to kind of give them a spotlight on their game, and I'm going to start beginning the movie here as we go. The kind of an earlier version of the trailer. I'm going to preface that by saying it's advanced quite a bit from what you're seeing before you, but we're going to use that as kind of an embellished visual for what's going on as we talk about the game. And as we talked about in our episode, it is a scientifically oriented Mars colonization simulator. And I think the first question out of the gate for the team is what was the impetus for a science-oriented game in regards to this, and where did you come to it?
Erica?
Right. So one of the inspirations for this game was, I don't know if you heard about the Mars One project, started about a year ago, and I was reading their website and just kind of thought this would be a brilliant RTS. Also, have had a look around at a lot of the, like any games to do with Mars, and there weren't really many. And so I kind of just came up with the idea of this game as something that I'd really like to play, and just something that hadn't been done yet.
Cool. Cait, what do you think?
I think that this looks so great as the idea of battling elements versus sort of defending against enemies, which is, I think, what a lot of RTS games are right now. And I guess one question that I had is how much of this is going to be taking care of your colony as a whole versus taking care of individuals' needs?
Yeah.
Well, there's kind of like, you kind of have to do both at the same time. When your colonist is inside of the base, you take care of the base to take care of the colonists. But when the colonist is outside of the base, then you have to take care of the colonists on their own to make sure that they're not like running out of air or getting hit by rock slides and stuff like that. There's actually like two different kind of ways to lose the game there. Base failure is the kind of like when your base breaks down because you don't have life support, you run out of food, or you run out of water. Or if you lose a certain amount of colonists, then you lose the game as well because your mission is kind of just a death trap at that point to anyone.
And I understand that you can also like there's something called primary and secondary objectives or missions or goals you can assign to your individual colonists. And like one helps you get towards the end of the game, i.e. winning the game by having a successful Mars colony, and one is more of an ancillary preventing yourselves from a catastrophic failure. And I wonder if you could like give us the difference between something that is geared towards helping you advance towards the end and one to help prevent catastrophe.
The difference there is that we have these experience trees, and winning the game is actually done through the experience trees. And so as you perform tasks, you get a certain amount of like different types of experience, and one of those experiences is just general base experience. And once you get down that tree, you can choose to specialize, kind of like Civilization. You can choose to specialize your base, and that unlocks different winning conditions. So besides just surviving to that point, you have to unlock a certain type of base, and then you have to build like a residential type base, or a
Scientific.
Yes, a scientific type base or a commercial type colony.
Okay. Actually, just to double back on that really quick, you might have already answered my question, but I was actually curious about this as well. I know there's like 4 or 5 major groupings of module types that focus on agrarian, technology, that kind of thing, in order to feed the colony, advance technology of the colony. There's also specialized modules. And I was just kind of curious, like, with how deep down the rabbit hole in terms of like that do you go in terms of specialization?
We have, I'm not sure if this is what you mean, but we do have, once you specialize your base, you're able to build like sort of end game modules.
Exactly,
like really big, really more elaborate ones. Like the science one has like a lab and observatory. The colony one, you build like a big residential dome, so on and so forth. The commercial, you get a rocket.
Okay, cool.
So,
Yeah.
As far as specialization of each like colony goes, you have to have all four base modules for any type of base because they each do something very vital to the colony. You need the agrarian one to grow food for your colonists, but in each one you can perform research that gives you that type of research. And so when you go into the research trees, you can spend, say, agricultural research points into the agricultural tree, and so you can kind of specialize your colony yourself so that you can tend food better, you can have more capacity for food, and all sorts of things along that line. So you kind of specialize your colony yourself rather than letting the buildings do it for you.
Oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. And I'm going to toss it over to Cait, but I just wanted to mention that Erica nailed it for me with the biodome thing, because I was just wondering, I know you had like the first stage of the thing is like, just sustenance and sustainability. But I was just wondering if towards the end there'd be like a huge payoff for maintaining this delicate balance, some kind of Asimovian Arthur C. Clarke type stuff, like, greater habitation facilities and that kind of a thing.
we had a really good 3D artist as well, so who did all our models for us. So we really wanted to exploit that and build something that looked really pretty.
I'm really excited to see some of the more elaborate stuff that he came up with as you advance.
On our Kickstarter page, we have like kind of a picture of like kind of a completed base on our second map, Marth Vallis, kind of lit up at night. I've noticed, that one there, and so that has the level 4 kind of like built up of every single module, and you can see how each one gets like second stories and lights and all sorts of things.
One of our stretch goals as well is we'd really like, one of the things we really wanted to put in the game at first, when we first started building, before we realized how long it might take to program, is have like customizable building placement. So that is, I think that's one of our higher stretch goals.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to hit that one, but...
But yeah, it's definitely a pipe dream to add on to later, at least, if you could. But I know you guys are getting close to your first stretch goal, if not surpassing it, right?
Yeah.
We're very excited.
Yes, we've been very pleased with the initial reaction so far, and we got off to a great start, and that's allowed us to really focus in on some of these higher goals.
A lot of international backers as well.
Cool.
And what can you tell listeners about that first stretch goal?
Well, we have a very talented portrait artist who is currently working on some astronaut suit illustrations for us, but if we get to the first stretch goal, he will be able to do new portraits and
Is that a portrait right there, actually? The one where you're selecting people and pulling them into their job roles and modules and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That was from our first character artist we had, and unfortunately he ended up moving, so right now we were left for a little while without a character artist to do extra art for us.
Yeah.
You mentioned that some of the portraits were, of your professors, and they're all obviously very international, and and that's so great. And you are a very diverse group of people. You have all of this amazing education. You try and keep this game very scientific, very to the facts, and you make that very clear, which is so great because a lot of video games don't do that. And you have all of these degrees to back you up. Erica, you have a degree in music? Like, how amazing are you guys? So at what age did this love of science, did this passion start for all of you?
Well, I can jump in and answer it first because I've thought about it a lot. I can remember very clearly way back in preschool for me, and I would stay inside from recess to watch the space shuttle land. Not just take off, but the less visually interesting landing. And I knew right from that moment that space was something that I was really into. And when I get the chance to jump on board making a game about it, that was when I knew I was going to be 100% into it.
For me, I guess 6th grade science fair, I made a biodome, like a self-contained ecosystem. and ended up winning that. And so like I was kind of pegged as a scientist from the get-go, and just I went and got a degree in math and physics. I really love physics, and so yeah, I'm just a bit nerdy.
So I was raised on science fiction, but basically I was kind of like indoctrinated into a liberal arts education very early on, unfortunately, and it took a while for me to kind of rediscover science.
Is there anything that you guys would like to add as like a side note about the game that you're really excited about, or you may not have announced yet, or you'd like to share?
Well, what we're really excited about right now is we are almost to 200 backers. So that's very exciting.
And almost to our first stretch goal as well, so that get some new art in there.
Yeah, it's been really great to know that people who have been following us for a couple months now, we have 200 people who want to play the game already, so that gives us a lot of encouragement going forward and putting the final touches on the game.
Also, there's a lot of features in there that we haven't like come out and shown people because we don't feel that they're polished enough to show people yet. A lot of people are seeing is just the base gameplay. There's a lot of very fine-tuned features. Just for example, how food functions with how many colonists you have, or how energy functions with how many tasks you're performing at the time in your base.
Also, since we weren't sure if we were going to reach one of our stretch goals. I mean, we still haven't reached it yet, but we're getting quite close. The $4,000 one. So we couldn't really show the character selection screen. That was another thing that we'd really like to be able to show people.
Choose your colonists, and you can also, like, each colonist has stats that we haven't really gone into that all that much, and each of these stats kind of give kind of a character to each colonist, and so you can kind of choose your team for the type of colony you're going to be making.
We tried to make it sort of RPG-like in that manner, even though there's not, unfortunately, we couldn't add customization. But we tried to give everybody a little bit of a background and like sort of skills and stats, things that they're good at.
Anything else you'd like to ask, Cait?
No, I just want to say congratulations on a really exciting looking game. I am excited to see this has made its goal. I really want to see that stretch goal made.
Yeah, me too.
Just congratulations on everything so far. And I wish you guys the best of luck.
Well, thank you very much. We've got some exciting things for the last week of the Kickstarter, so we'll keep on really pushing hard.
Well, that is it for our extra episode. I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your Friday night to join us. And that's what we're doing right now, everybody. We're on a Friday night, and we're interviewing people, and we're bothering them and telling them all about their game. I don't think it's much of a bother for some free PR, I know, but still, I appreciate it, and I know Cait appreciates it, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we love the fact that you guys were so excited about it and made it the #1 pick of the week for Worth the Wait a couple of weeks ago.
Cool. Well, tune in next week, guys, for another series of picks from Cait and I. But for right now, it's just okay, Wally, and
This is Caters.
And any parting goodbyes from you guys to your fans? Go ahead, shout it out. Be proud.
Well, look forward to seeing you on Mars.
We really like space.
I like space too.
Of course.
Bye.
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 Bye.